What is going on, Rivian fans? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today I want to give you a good overview of what the data points are truly saying right now, and given the circumstances, where things might be going from here. Before I get into any of that, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And without further ado, let's get right to it. So yesterday it closed 2.63% down. Pre-market so far, it is up 3.55%. So a lot of people I think are seeing a lot of good value in Rivian, because as I've been saying over the last several videos, what has happened to it is just very much unjustified. The fact that their market cap is almost around 11.93 billion just doesn't make sense. Based on their last disclosures, they have around 12 billion in cash and cash equivalents. So something doesn't add up. And of course, when I do typically see this happen behind the scenes, it goes to show manipulation. And obviously I'm saying that lightly. But for instance, right now the market is, like I said, pre-market, currently $119,000 in one transaction today. But outside of that, these are all the transactions on the secondary market. And yesterday, there was some big abnormal buying that was happening, as you can see based on these. So the last time I've seen kind of situations like that, typically 1 week from now, you're going to start seeing a lot of institutions up their actual rating, or just outright saying Rivian is a very good buy at these prices. So they like to buy as much as they can, and then 1 week from now, this is where they start saying it's a huge deal. So just keep that in mind. Remember me if that does happen 1 week from now, or give or take. As far as the dark pool, that was very active yesterday, and dark pool is very much linked to shorting. So I'll give you guys a quick update on that in a second. But as far as options activity, you do see a lot more puts being purchased. Generally speaking, still a lot more calls, because overall there was $2.76 million in call premium versus $1.87 million in puts. But generally speaking, it's kind of still divided, which ultimately means that people behind the scenes don't necessarily know exactly where Rivian is going. And personally, I don't think it's a Rivian problem. I think it's just a broader economic problem. People don't know where the whole economy is going, because sometimes there's hints that we're going to be going through a expansion stage, or at least starting the stages of that. And then another time, we think that we're going to have a massive recession that is going to be worse than 2008, something like that. So nobody necessarily knows where the overall economy is going, and I think they are kind of hedging their bets with Rivian, unfortunately, because currently Rivian does burn through quite a lot of cash. And I wanted to share this with you. So Hamid, who is the actual founder and CEO of Savvy Trader, he goes over his reasoning why he did increase his position with Rivian at $12.98. Which of course, like I mentioned, at these prices, a lot of good value investors are getting in. So he talks mostly on the overall reviews of Rivian, that everyone loves Rivian behind the scenes. Of course, you kind of see the odd negative aspect of it, that it's just a dead weight or something like that, has to get towed away. But generally speaking, I do agree that the reviews on Rivian are on point. And he does bring up the negative, of course, right here. So all that said, the reason I'm not betting a lot more, at least not yet, is because Rivian still has a long road of negative cash flows ahead. It still needs to figure out how to build their vehicles profitably, and of course it still needs to scale. And I think that's encumbering a very good representation of where Rivian is at right now. A lot of people do realize that their vehicles are very good, on point. They're definitely going to do a lot of good things. One negative is, yes, they are burning through quite a lot of cash. But one positive thing that did come out, as you can see here, it looks like it was announced for April the 4th. There's going to be a fireside chat at the Bank of America Securities 2023 Global Automotive Summit. So I'm going to be live streaming that as well. So it looks like Claire is going to be, who is the CFO, is going to be speaking for Rivian. So make sure you guys stay tuned and subscribe. But generally speaking, like I said, looking at the data points is all very much positive right now. At least the underlying sentiment is wanting to be positive. I'll give you guys a quick overview of shorts. So currently a short score is 63, utilization is almost around 36. And of course, as I've said in the past, a little bit more of a disclaimer, I don't see Rivian as a squeeze. It's just more so this is a benchmark that I'm talking on. Cost to borrow average is 1.47%, so that kind of is going up a little bit. So it was 1% yesterday. So far, shorts within pre-market are increasing 21,000 shares, but still 75 or 74.59 million shares being overall shorted, and that works out to be around 12.45% of the free float. And just to put it in perspective, there's currently almost around $1 billion, so $966 million worth of shorts out there. So it is pretty significant, but typically what does happen, similar to what happened with Tesla, of course, once they started to really ramp up on production, shorts just naturally leave. So in general, like I said, I don't see Rivian as a squeeze. It doesn't have all the criteria for a good squeeze, but definitely they are very much present with Rivian. So just be aware that once Rivian starts to ramp up pretty much exactly what he said right here to the point of profitability, or even just to scale potentially, then this is where shorts will exit. As far as some indicators, so currently stochastic has no actual defined trend right now, but it is at 26, so kind of still a little bit more oversold a little bit. Momentum, number of retail investors have been getting in, so like I said, a lot of value investors are seeing Rivian at these prices and just completely pulling their hair out. It doesn't make sense, like I said. So I'm definitely going to be taking advantage if it does stay in the 12s. Right now my average is at 15, and even at 15 I'm extremely happy with Rivian. I'm not worried at all. But of course, I'm not a financial advisor, so like I already said, these videos are for entertainment purposes only. On the actual chart, it is below a lot of the pivotal moving averages, but it is most likely going to be testing around that $14 mark fairly soon, and that will be a very big pivot from the lower to the higher percentile of the Bollinger Band. But a lot of the other moving averages are just kind of out of scope right now. So definitely needs a little bit more of a broader boost. And there's a couple of things coming out this week, one of which is Thursday, and that is GDP, and then PCE on Friday. So with positive numbers in that regard, that might be enough for Rivian to have a nice boost up. But of course, my crystal ball might be very much wrong. Who knows? Rivian and other EV plays in general are just a long-term game, and right now they're just trying to find their place in the overall economy. In theory, a lot of these companies have good vehicles, just they fail in some regard. So like I said, just by ramping up or failing to really ramp up to profitability, or just burning through a lot of cash. So Rivian needs to get their stuff together over the next couple quarters. And I think in general, based on some analysts, they are even projecting that this is going to continue to burn through cash up until mid-2024. So just be aware of that. Make sure you guys do your own due diligence. But without further ado, let me know your thoughts on Rivian in the comments below. Do you agree that you like the reviews potentially? Just what's your take on Rivian right now? Have you been buying, selling, holding? Where do you see things going in the short term, long term? What's your price predictions? And if you haven't already, hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. If you do like my Rivian content and want to support the channel, take a look at my memberships, link in the description below, or just hit the join button at the bottom of the screen. And one final thing, even though Rivian has been going down tentatively in the short term at least, what you can do is get some free stuff. And there's a promo with moomoo only up until March 31st, so a couple days left. And just by opening up a free account, you get one free stock. Each stock is valued up to $2,000, so that is a complete no-brainer. Link in the description below and also the comments, so make sure you guys take advantage of that. If you want to throw $100 at the account as well, you do get 4 additional free stocks. And because of the whole chat AI movement, you get 2 free additional stocks, one of which is AI, the other one is BBAI. So for $100, you get 7 free stocks. It is a complete no-brainer. Make sure you guys take advantage of that. Link in the description below and also the comments. And without further ado, appreciate you guys watching. Let's all make a lot of money on Rivian.